Welcome, everybody. We got another Jazz Matters podcast here tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking to guitarist, writer, composer, singer, Mr. Larry Hall. And Larry's been around Atlanta for quite a while, I think. As a matter of fact, when I first got here, that was one of the first musicians I know I met. So to get this thing started, we're going to get Mr. Coulter here to go ahead and sign on legally.
Hello. How we doing today, everybody? Good. It's Sunday.
And it's almost there.
This is Coulter of Jazz Beats Radio. How's everybody doing this evening?
Doing great.
All good, right, man. And you can look us up on yesjazzmatters.org. That's yesjazzmatters.org. And today, like I said earlier, we're going to be talking to guitarist Larry Hall. And Larry, it's been a while, brother, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can get everybody else out there in the world to get a little more information on you. So go ahead and kick it off, Larry. Just let people know, where you're from and how you got into the business.
All right. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been playing guitar since I was 7 years old. And I grew up listening to Wes Montgomery on Herb Lance on the Purple Grotto. And that's where I became interested in jazz, because that's where I first heard Wes Montgomery. I took some lessons from Wesley Jackson here in Atlanta, private lessons for a number of years. Then I went out on the road with several people like Bobby Womack, Carla Thomas, Joe Tex, Joe Simon, and I played with Eddie Kendricks, Johnny Taylor, Eddie Floyd, and Bobby Bland, Rufus Thomas. And then I went to, after I got a lot of knowledge, I came back to Atlanta and went to Georgia State to take 4 years of guitar from Professor Frackenpool over at Georgia State. And I finished that course and continued. I cut a couple of CDs. I finished that. And then let's see, best way. Then I moved to Japan and played over there with, at the Blue Note circuit with Jimmy Smith. And I had a chance to collaborate with Earl Klugh and George Benson a few times when I was over there. And I came back here and cut a CD and decided I'd stay in Atlanta for a while and just try to produce my CD. And yeah, well, that's basically it.
Hey, well, speaking of, like, when you said you moved over to Japan, can you tell us about that experience over there as a musician?
Oh,
from the States,
Mm-hmm. I found out they play a lot of jazz over there, and that's where I met a couple of other guitar players and bass player who introduced me to the circuit over there. I actually lived there for off and on for about 15 years. And then I did have a chance to meet Joe Pass over there as well. And I got a lot of knowledge from those guys.
So, and while over there, when you were doing it and working with them, you worked with a lot of the local musicians, a lot of the Japanese musicians, right? Yeah,
sure. That was a trip because I ran into a bunch of people who could speak English.
So you were surprised, huh?
Yeah, and so they took care of me. That's one thing I want to add.
Yeah, that's great, man.
And gave me gigs, and pretty much made me feel at home. that was very comforting to me.
Right. I got a few friends that's still over there because they just couldn't get enough, I guess.
Well, I can understand that.
I feel you.
Treat you royally.
Yeah, there you go. And isn't that kind of ironic how it seems that we have to go out of the country just to get treated like the musician that we know we are? Isn't that interesting?
It is. It is. When you're around here, you're just another someone that from here.
Yes,
So,
dog eat dog. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, dog eat dog is pretty much it.
Right.
But I was fortunate enough to, man, it was a couple of guys like Mr. Nishiyama from Osaka. I was around the Osaka, Kansai area. I was actually in the Great Kansan Hashin earthquake.
Oh, man.
And that killed a bunch of people and slowed the work down. But they got up pretty quick and we were gigging again.
Wow, man, that's great. You know, they recovered and you recovered, so that's all a good thing. You know.
Yeah.
And I do remember the days back when you were over there when you would come back and forth here, and we would hook up when you got back over here and everything. And I was always curious to find out if the attitude to the music over there was it a better attitude or because I get a lot of guys that tell me that they really dig into it to learn it, and they actually end up learning a lot of our culture here in the States, especially for us musicians, by doing such a thing. Did you experience that kind of thing also?
Yeah. Like I say, I had a couple of tight friends who were booking agents too, musician friends who were booking agents. And they kind of set me up, and it was pretty easy for me. They made sure I was taken care of, you know, kept working, and I miss it a lot.
Yeah, but I meant like from the perspective of the musicians that you work with, were they more involved in trying to really grasp the culture of jazz music?
Oh, yeah, it was like, I mean, it was like they studied it. They studied the culture, they studied the music. They knew all of the musicians who were responsible for this jazz style.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was very enlightening to me. And one thing I liked about that was they gave you a lot of respect. And that's a respectful culture anyway. And,
very, yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that. I missed that more than anything.
Well, I know that I've always gotten a lot of response from musicians from abroad, and they took the music very serious.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, really serious. Yeah. Over here in the States, you know, you would see a musician like Wynton Marsalis or someone who takes it very serious. You know what I'm saying? But and it kind of around, and since we both here are, you know, like right here in Atlanta and everything, I can say that they don't seem to take it that serious, you know, here.
To say the least.
Oh yeah, to say the least. All right. Well, I mean, is that something that, you know, that kind of stresses you at times because of that? Because I know it stresses me at times to see how the work ethic can be from people who really get into the music and the culture, and they're not the creators.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But yet the creators here seem to put it on the back burner.
Right. Yeah.
And don't have that kind of respect for it, not only in the culture and in the public, but also on mainstream airwaves. They don't seem to have that kind of respect for the music. Right. So do you think that now that we've moved here into the 21st century, and now that we have a pandemic on our hands, it seems like all musicians want to be serious now. you know, and I'm like, what happened, last year or 8 months ago? You see
Right.
what I'm saying? And do you run into musicians here locally that's basically not really understanding what's going on and trying to figure out what to do, or what?
I don't think the musicians here are serious enough to put the work in. Most of the guys, well, I love Atlanta first, but I think most of the guys, they're just looking for a gig, But but over there they worked songs out, they rehearsed. It was easier because people were more cooperative.
Mhm.
Japanese musicians are very serious
Right.
about everything.
And why do you think that's lacking here, though? I mean, why is that? Remember now, we were the creators of the jazz music
Mhm.
that's heard around the world.
Yeah.
So, and is there anything that you can say, to or let people know why you think, it's just your opinion, why you think it's lacking, in this, especially in Atlanta, is a big city, but it's right now, presently, it's
Yeah,
only known for the hip hop
yeah, hip hop,
culture.
and I like R&B too, but you have to play a lot of R&B over here in contrast to Japan because they actually studied that music, the jazz music, and
Mhm.
that's what I like about it. That's
Yeah,
what I.
because I remember days back when I was in Boston, man, and we would have to go out and play sometime, and was on doing different gigs, and every now and then you see these Japanese students,
Mm-hmm.
and they sit up front and center right there, the front of the stage, and some of them have notepads in their hands,
Yeah.
and after you uh, played a set, if there was something that caught their ear, they'd come up and ask you, what did why did you go that, why did you take that approach to that, passage in the music, and then you try to figure out, because they'll usually catch you off guard,
Yeah.
and they'll say this one right here, that they already wrote the figures down. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they know what you were playing. They
Oh,
they really want to know that much about the music.
yeah.
And I have rarely ever seen. I've seen a couple in playing around, of students from America that actually did something like that, but I don't see that often, and I often wonder, if they're paying attention with that much insight, with that much depth, as far as trying to learn the culture.
Right.
So I'm almost about to just say, maybe it's because of who's ever teaching them, and
Right.
I know that they don't have a lot of it in the middle and high schools, and even in a lot of the colleges, because there's few jazz programs,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason why they seem to be consistent with, okay, accepting mediocrity.
Right.
You see.
Mm-hmm.
S-
But they're very serious over there, and here, you know, I love over here, but it's sort of like I think they don't study enough seriously to really grow as not everybody, but to grow, and that I think that hampers what that's really what I miss about being over there. You know.
You think we're probably in the States here a little more competitive versus more learning more about the concept of the music.
Yeah.
The majority, I'm not everybody, I mean, but the majority of the younger players and stuff, they seem to be more competitive about what they do when they're playing in jam sessions. Because I've went out to some, sit way in the back and just listen at what's going on, and that competition thing is really, really strong. And but the concept of what they're doing is very weak.
Yeah. It's
You
kind of
see,
shallow. Yeah.
and Vaughn plays all kinds of music over there at Jazz Beats Radio. So I know he's got some insight on a lot of this because he gets almost everybody's music to do it with. So he got a lot of a very wide scope of the music. So Vaughn, if you want to weigh in, the floor is yours.
Well, yeah, I'm the conversation is very interesting because I'm feeling as though the musicians here in the States seem to want to take the music for granted. The especially on the history side, they get away from that because they feel as though they're trying to really develop their own voice, as they say in the industry. How whatever instrument they're playing to be able to develop who they are that you can identify with. But by the same token, it's about learning from the past. That's how you find your voice. Otherwise you just end up repeating what someone else has already done, and you're not aware of it until one of the older cats tell you sound like so and so. So that's where they need to really grasp what it was like in the past and really understand the tremendous artistry that the musicians of the past developed with. But I was going to say, I've come across quite a few of some very prominent Japanese jazz musicians over the last few years, and they're incredible. They're incredible artists, and I can feel their respect for the music, because they're highly technical in what they do. And some of these musicians are just phenomenal in what they're developing with the craft, and they're well known all over the world now. So but that's just Japan. I've got musicians from all over Europe. One particular, Jessica Pina, out of Spain of all places. She's just a phenomenal trumpeter, and she's doing some amazing stuff out of Portugal. So it's all over the place. But it's just trying to recapture that essence again for the folks in America. It's I don't know. It's kind of like you said. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, and I know it grades on cats like Edwin and probably yourself there, Larry, that the young cats, the guys that are trying to do it here in the States, just don't connect with it like they do all over the world.
Yeah, well, Larry said it right earlier. They look for the
that gig. Yeah, that's what they want.
For the end game. And but Larry, some of the I know you work with quite a few people, and you have your own project also. And are you working on anything now that we're shut in, or how is it going with that?
I'm practicing more than I ever have.
Tell me about it.
So when I come out, and I'm working on a project too.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on a project, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but I just find it it's a good time for me to come up with something new. And I'm really not doing as much jazz as I want to do on my project. But
well, you're doing more of what? More of the smooth contemporary stuff. Well, that's the only difference right now, because that's where the industry is pulling. Exactly. So the thing is, it's not so much that you have to necessarily do a lot of straight ahead anymore. And if you're working on things that because me and Vaughn have had this conversation with others about where the marketplace is, and the marketplace, of course, is in contemporary or smooth jazz. It's what they call it. And so even as a reference, when you hear people saying that there's a jazz concert or a jazz event, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be electric or smooth jazz.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to be, if it's straight ahead, it's usually almost a private function, to do some straight ahead stuff, or some kind of dinner music, background music that's way in the background, you know, and you're not really featured, you know. And the stuff you're doing, Larry, is basically the concept by it being contemporary smooth jazz. Uh, is it difficult to write right now in this climate? Because you know, before we could always see what tomorrow's going to bring,
Right.
you know, in the music, but right now, you know, it's almost like everything stopped. And I assume, you know, you got some ideas, or you can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh yeah, I really can. And like I said, I've been practicing to keep my sanity.
Hey, you
And
know, that's a perfect statement, because that's the actual cure for depression, is to be creative and to be social.
right,
Like, you know, you got to talk to people that you might not have talked to in a long time.
yeah,
You got to you know, basically put yourself out there, even though we're not physically going out that much. But formats like you know, Zoom and you know, just visual stuff through the digital age can combat all of that. You know what I'm saying? And you won't have that depression, or that downward feeling about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you're creating, for one, and you being sociable at the same time.
right,
So if because there's a lot of musicians that, you know, they're just waiting, and the more they wait, the longer they wait, the more that social aspect will take advantage. So that's where that depression sets in.
yeah.
You know. So, but on the tracks, are they going to be all original? Are you going to do any covers?
I have a few. I have about 6 I know originals.
Okay.
Add to the ones I already have on my last album, last CD, which was called New Day. I may pull something from that, but most of the things are like new ideas about how to play like you say, the smooth jazz, and maybe even take some songs from this era and make it smooth jazz, like just more creative.
Right.
Uh, mm,
Well,
so
that's great. So, Vaughn, you got any more to add to this?
I just know that you know, he's keeping relevant. He's staying relevant, and which is good. It's good because you know, the music is always evolving.
yeah,
And Larry, you're doing the right thing. Just keep producing and making music right now. And you know, I'll tell that to anybody that you know, is on the precipice of going back into the studio and doing some work and some original stuff as well. So hats off to you on that project, man. Looking forward to hearing it.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
So Larry, are you on the project that you already have out? Is there any? Can you first of all just let everybody know how they can contact you, uh, and to try to get a hold of some of your music?
Okay, I have my email is larryguitarhall@gmail.com. I have a lot of songs on there through CD Baby um, as well. You can go to cdbaby.com and listen to some songs that I had written. But it's it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this new project as well. I'm looking forward to that. I think it kind of saved me. Um, First thing I do in the morning when I wake up is grab my guitar, and that's good. I don't have anything else to do, so that's the best thing I can do to keep my sanity like that.
Right, right.
Yeah, it keeps you from, you know, getting depressed. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. The whole thing, and a lot of people I know don't have that outlet, but we're fortunate to have it. You
mm,
know,
yeah.
and and so Vaughn, just let people know where they can hit you up at and get in contact with you, because I know you have
Absolutely.
a broad platform.
Yeah, and it's getting even broader.
Great.
Yeah, find me at jazzbeatsradio.com. That is the Jazz Beats Radio webpage. And also, I am on Instagram at Von Coulter. You can also find me at Ain't Nothing But Soul. That's my Twitter page, Ain't Nothing But Soul. And that's at Nothing But Soul One. That's how you can, that's my handle there at Twitter. And also, my other web page is, well, I'm sorry, the other Twitter page is Ain't Nothing But Soul, which is dedicated to the culture of the Black performing arts. So, you know, it's all about, that's what it's all about. It's all about the culture of jazz, because it is not a phenomenon. It's a lifestyle, and it's a culture that's rich and full of all of those things that are beautiful in Black America.
Cool. And you can, of course, at Jazz Matters, you can reach us at jazzmatters.org. And that's jazzmatters.org. And we'll soon have some T-shirts. I don't know if you can see this or not. But,
I see that, Edwin. I like that.
Yeah, there it is. Just marketing, you know, just marketing. But yeah, this is Yes Jazz Matters. Well, this is hashtag Yes Jazz Matters. You can get us there, you know, also, and see if you want to get one of these. But all in all, you can also reach us at the Jazz Matters website, and we do have a donate page on there where you can donate, and it's going to be we'll also be launching some live performances, virtual. So be looking out for that. And we're definitely going to have, of course, Larry and many others doing the performances. And we're really looking forward to that, because of the fact that, you know, of where we are now and what the game is right now that we got to adjust to. So Larry, it was great, man, talking to you. I told you the time moves so fast.
Yeah.
It's almost like you just sat down, I'm sure, right?
It has got a lot more to say, but
oh, well, say it now. I tell you what, you got a minute.
A minute.
Yeah, you got a minute to say it.
First, I'll say thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Vaughn, for the interview.
All right.
And I'm glad to do it. Keep up the good work, promoting this music.
Cool. All right, and we'll be out of here. So that's it for us. And of course, every Monday, Jazz Matters has an interview that airs, and be looking for it. This Monday, I think, is coming up is Larry Jackson, great saxophone player, and he's got a lot to talk about. And we'll make sure that everybody gets, you know, on board with this thing. We're trying to grow it. So thanks, Larry, a lot, and I'll holler at you later.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.